How you doing? I'm so excited to come your way again. The month of March is slowly coming to an end, or it has even come to an end. I'd love to ask you a question. What have you achieved so far? Think about it. Well, today's talk is a build-up on all that we on channels to the mind that we've been discussing. So if you have not watched channels to the mind part 1 or you've not watched part 2, you can check the description box below for the link to those videos. So you see it as it's a build-up on what we've discussed. So let's move straight to our talk for today. Lately, I noticed a huge contrast in the level of security that we give to different places. Let me be more explicit. For instance, the security that we give to buildings that are still under construction, especially those in their early stage of construction, is quite minimal compared to the level of security we give to residential buildings, right? Buildings that are still under construction are not as secured as residential buildings, especially if those buildings are just in their early stage of construction. Maybe the foundation is just being laid or something. Now, let's now go further to talk about GRAs or very important places like the Aso Rock in Nigeria, like the White House in the US, or the Buckingham Palace in the UK. Those places are really secure. Even though they are residential areas, but they are more secured than normal residential areas, right? Now, let's also move further to talk about top secured places in the world like the Vatican's Secret Archive, also known as the Vatican Apostolic Archive in Rome, Italy. Let me tell you a little about that secret archive. That place is in Italy, is in Rome, and it contains history and religious sheets. It contains about 350,000 sheets and 53 miles of shelving. That's to tell you how big that place is. Now let me tell you a little about how secure that place is. Of course, it's not accessible to students, it's not accessible to reporters or amateur historians. It's just, authorization is just given to academicians, and they have to renew their authorization request every 6 months, and they must be at least 75 years old. Yes, you heard me right, 75. So before you can have access to the Vatican Secret Archive, you must be 75 years. That's how secure that place is. Another example is the Fort Knox in Kentucky. The Fort Knox contains a large percent of America's monetary value, and it has a 250-ton dome. Yes, 250-ton dome. And it is coated with steel to prevent it from attack. That's how secure some places are. Now, I want you to do something. I want you to compare the level of security we give to residential buildings or buildings that are in their early stage of construction, compared to the level of security we give to places like Fort Knox or places like the Buckingham Palace. Can they be compared? I don't think so. And I thought about that. Why is that so? Why can't we give the same level of security we give to Fort Knox? Why can't we give it to buildings that are still in their early stage of construction? And I realized that the answer is value. Value, yes. Because Fort Knox contains a large percent of America's monetary value. That is why it is secure that much. Because the sheets, the religious and history sheets that are kept in the Vatican Apostolic Archive, because it is valued, that is why it is secure that much. Because the lives of the monarch, the lives of the president that stay in Buckingham Palace, and they stay in the White House, that stay in Aso Rock, because their lives are valued, that is why it is secure that much. So the level of value, the level of security we give to something is determined by the level of value that we have for such things. So that's the first thing I want to establish, that what necessitates security is value. If I do not value something, I'm not really going to secure it so much. But the level of security I attach to a particular thing is determined by the level of value I have for it, right? Good. So now, let's move to our lesson for today. As I said earlier, today is a build-up on all that we've been discussing. So if you have not watched Channels to the Mind Part 1 and 2, or perhaps you've watched it but you've kind of forgotten some things that we discussed there, you can always pause this video, go back to watch those videos, then continue the video. So have you done that? Thank you so much. So our lesson for today, I know that you've seen in our previous videos that we said that we should guard our hearts, we should not just expose our minds to things. We should not just look at or listen to wrong things. We should not look at or listen to the wrong posts, the wrong kind of music, the wrong kind of movies. We should be careful with the things that we expose our minds to. And that's very good. That is securing your heart, right? guarding your heart. Not looking at the wrong kind of things, not listening to the wrong kind of things is guarding your heart. Now, what necessitates security? Value. Good. So that means that as much as we secure our hearts, we should also ensure that we keep valuables in our hearts. We keep things that are valuable in our hearts. If we just secure our hearts and we do not keep things that are valuable in our hearts, then securing our heart is of no essence. If we just secure our hearts and we do not keep things that are valuable, then we will soon get tired of securing and we will soon let our guards down. So what am I trying to say in essence? As much as we secure our hearts, as much as we say, okay, I'm not going to listen to the wrong kind of music, I'm not going to look at the wrong kind of posts, the wrong kind of movies and all, we should also ensure that, okay, we determine that I am going to look at and listen to the right kind of things, the right kind of posts, the right kind of movies, the right kind of friends, the right kind of music. As humans, we have our conscious and our subconscious mind. When you look at and listen to something, it moves to your conscious mind. The more you expose yourself to it, it moves from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. Now, when something is your subconscious mind, it's like you store something in your Google Drive, or you store something in the hard drive of a computer, because that way it's permanent. That's why you don't exactly have to call some thoughts before they come, because they are already in your subconscious mind. They just come like themselves. So they are already in your subconscious mind. Now, how do you eliminate something from your subconscious mind? If a person already has negative things stored in his or her subconscious mind, and the person decides that, okay, I am not going to listen to the wrong kind of things, I'm not going to look at or listen to the wrong kind of things, and the person blocks the source of the negative. But that does not remove the negative from his or her subconscious mind, because it is already there. So what do? You simply open the source of the positive. Ensure that you determine that, okay, I am going to secure my heart. I'm not going to fill my heart with the wrong kind of things. But also determine that I will now begin to fill my heart with the right kind of things. So when you block the source of the negative, you open the source of the positive. The positive moves to your conscious mind. The more you expose yourself to it, it moves to your subconscious mind. And when it's in your subconscious mind, since the negative is no longer coming in, the concentration or the level of the positive increases and the negative dissolves. So the positive begins to come in, and it just takes away the negative. That's how it is. So you block the source of the negative and you open the source of the positive. So I want to determine that I'm not just only going to secure my heart, I'm also going to fill my heart with the right set of things, with valuable things. We say that do not look at or listen to things that do not tally with your value, but also ensure that you look at and listen to things that tally with your value. Because if you just block the source of the negative and you do not eliminate the negative that is already in our subconscious mind, then it will still remain there. So block the source of the negative and open the source of the positive. To conclude, I would love to give this scenario. There was once a house owner. He built his house, he painted it, he did all the necessary things, but he did not set his house, he did not arrange it, there were no chairs there, the house was just empty. And he left. When he returned to meet a lot of intruders as in insects, a lot of insects, cobwebs, cockroaches and all. And then when he came back, he saw those things, he swept his house, he arranged his house, he cleaned the cobwebs, he eliminated the insects, and he cleaned it, he swept it. But do you know what? He left it empty and he left. And do you know what happened? He returned to meet more dangerous insects. He returned to meet snakes, cobwebs, and filled the house the more. And it was the state of his house after was worse than he left it. Do you know why it was so? Because he left his house empty. When he returned to meet cockroaches and insects, what he was supposed to do is that after sweeping his house, he would now fill his house, he would arrange his house, and even come to live in the house. But he left it empty. He left it without valuables. And when he left it without valuables, more dangerous insects came, intruders came. So now, what's the lesson from this story? Our heart is like the house. And the intruders, the insects, are like the negative things that we fill our heart with. Now, you've decided that, okay, I'm going to eliminate the negative from my heart, and then you just like sweeping the house and arranging it. When you arrange it, now fill it with valuables. Now fill it with things that will not allow intruders to return. So, as you block the source of the negative, also ensure that you open the source of the positive. Look at it, begin to listen to and look at the right set of things. That is what will groom you and make you who you really want to be. So I come your way next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us thumbs up if you like our videos. Drop comments in the comment box, as that helps us to know what you really want us to do better. And also share this video, as that helps you to be also a source of blessing to people. Remember that your art, the things that you expose yourself to, is who you really are. So be careful what you expose yourself to. Don't just secure your heart, but also fill your heart with valuable things. Grace to you and peace be multiplied. Bye.